Welcome back to this Sportcast. I'm the Avineshwaran. Today we've got a guest. He needs no introduction. One of my bestest friends in football, a maverick for Kuala Lumpur. Hopefully soon to be a national player. Giancarlo Gallifuoco. How are you, Gigi?
Wow, man, that was a very, very, very good introduction. Thank you. You hyped me up way too much. Thank you, man. I'm so happy to be here.
Okay, how do you find the World Cup so far? No, before talking about the World Cup, talk us through how is off-season going? I mean, I've met your teammates, KL, how things are going?
Yeah, well, this is strange because for everybody like who's listening, Avi actually knows me really well. So he knows that I hate the off-season. I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I hate when I don't have training. I hate when I don't have a schedule. So then I build a schedule, and I pretty much do the same thing every off season. I say, okay, you got to spend some time not training, just enjoy yourself. And then by like day 3, my wife will start saying to me, you're so annoying. I know you want to train, just go train. And then I start building up some sort of routine. So the off seasons are like a beautiful time for you to like kind of work on all your weaknesses, especially like as you get older, strengthening things so that you don't have a future problem, you know. And one thing for me that I kind of really hone in on the off season is just trying to get my body in the right place to, as I know you know, but I want to play football for a long, long time. So I spent this last 4-6 weeks kind of just in the gym, strengthening all the joints, all the ligaments, so hopefully I can have another pain-free season. But I can't wait to get back to work, man.
Talking about off-season is so you can do lots of learnings as well, and what better time to watch the World Cup. And as a centre-back yourself, you know, watching the World Cup, how do you see the performances of defenders? What have you learned from these players? And yeah, I mean, how does Gigi see the World Cup this year?
Well, I watched it a bit lonely because Italy didn't make the World Cup, so that was a bit sad. But no, we were speaking a little bit off air, and from a defender point of view, I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to defending, and I think that there's certain foundations to positions. For example, anybody who listens to this and you know football. So you want your winger to be someone who's good on a 1v1. Has to be good at crossing, right? You want your attacker to be a good finisher. And then everything else that comes after that is kind of like a cherry on top. I think the last 10 years, we've been lost with defending specifically, where we've idolized John Terry's and Ferdinand's and Cannavaro's, these defenders that were such good leaders, such good defenders, and they could play with the ball. They were technically gifted. And I think we put so much, we tried to major so much on the minor and focused a lot on every single defender that had a high pass accuracy or could be calm under pressure. And we've kind of lost the quality of actually defending. And I've kind of seen that in this World Cup in the way of like, you're seeing big nations concede to small nations. Whereas before that would never happen because the quality or even the physical presence of the more experienced country, let's say, the defenders knew when to kill a game, knew when to have it be no nonsense, you know. And I joked with you before, but I said, like, if you Google Cannavaro, everyone knows he was a ball-playing centre-back. But you watch the 2006 World Cup, there's many a time he cleared the ball, he slide tackled, he did something dirty, because that's part of the job. So something that I've noticed this World Cup is I feel like finally that era of having like a 70-kilogram centre-back who is fantastic at passing the ball but doesn't actually know how to defend, I feel like that's ending, you know. I can't remember the name. I think his name's Dunk, the English defender, and they put him on to finish the game, and he won. Burn. And they put him on. He won every aerial duel, and it's that kind of stuff. Like in the end, in these games, the World Cup's the pinnacle. You have these minutes, these moments, like Egypt, Argentina, where you have to kill a game off, and you need that kind of old school defender. And I feel like that's one thing for me that I'm watching, that I'm seeing, like many times when a country falls short and the countries that are doing well is when the defender or the back line still has that. And I feel like that's becoming sexy again, you know?
Us being from the 90s, we are so accustomed to 90s defending, but then evolution of defending now is totally different. You have players who are fixated with statistics, the pressing, the passes and all that. For you, how do you see this evolution going for a defender? Like in your case, I believe you're an old school defender. You love clearances, crunching challenges. You don't care about the numbers. It's more about the team, right? How do you see this phenomenon? Like your take on it? How the changes?
I think you said it perfectly, and I'm glad that you think I'm that kind of a player, because I think that as you get further and further back from attacker to midfielder to defender, you have to be more in servitude to your team, right? Because your position is completely about the betterment of the team, of the group. Of course, an attacker has to be a little bit more selfish, right? So I feel like there's, as this is going and this obsession with stats has been happening, you're finding that, like, for example, defenders chop and change teams a lot, and that didn't really used to happen before, right? And I think that now slowly it's coming back, where, like Man City, okay, he's leaving Stones, but they bought him ball playing defender, but a good defender, and then they go 5-6 years 7 years where that person is your centre back. And I think that evolution is going to come back around, because people are realizing that stats can be manipulated. They can give you a very selfishly driven performance. And in the end, a coach with his job on the line does not care about your stats. He cares about the team winning,
Any of your mates playing in the World Cup, have you kept in touch with them?
Yeah, so I'm quite close with some players from the Australian national team. Jackson Irvine and Cameron Burgess, they're my old teammates. So I talked a lot with them. Cameron Burgess specifically because in the second game he scored an own goal. Yeah, and as a defender you just smash yourself about that, you beat yourself up. And I like, people don't realise like how obsessive athletes are about their own performance and their own betterment. I think sometimes people have this like assumption that we're all like, we play a game and then we go and party and we live the best life. Most of the time it's like rewatching your game, being so angry that you misplaced a pass or so on and so forth. So I reached out to Cameron just to say, like, that mistake basically is from effort, and no one will ever hold that against you. It's not from lack of effort. Lack of effort is when you have a problem, Whereas he was trying to, anyway. And then to Jackson Irvine, because I think this will probably be his last World Cup. I think you can kind of feel that they're kind of starting to phase that generation out. And that to be proud of himself, be proud of the performances. And I think, like, I'm sorry for embellishing, but I think the World Cup shows you that, like, of course, the metric of winning is the most important thing. It's unbelievable. Everybody wants to win, right? But there's many successes on the way. Getting to the World Cup is a ridiculous achievement. And then competing is a ridiculous achievement. And then managing to win and beat Turkey is a ridiculous. And then to the point where you lose, it's for outside of the big 7 nations, it's all learning. It's all, like I saw Mo Salah talking after he got knocked out, and he was talking happy. And he was saying this is so good for African football and Egyptian football. And that was kind of the message I was trying to say to Jackson. I was trying to say, like, you're going to look back when you're 70 and people are going to say about how Australia qualified 3 times in a row, and that you've played 11 games in the World Cup. 11 games. Man, I used to juggle with this boy at 15. He couldn't juggle properly. Like, and now he's got 11 World. This is incredible. Like, how far you've come, And that's one thing as a footballer, as a person, as a leader. If there's one imprint I can make on football, is that I want people to understand that there's many wins. It's not just the trophy,
How did you see the round of 16 going? I mean, the biggest surprise was Norway beating Brazil. Talk us through that game, and maybe I can ask you this because you have had lots of successful cup campaigns with your club, Kuala Lumpur.
Thank you.
AFC Cup, Malaysia Cup, FA Cup, and so on. So, seeing that happen, what was your first thought?
Man, about Brazil getting knocked out, I didn't think Brazil anywhere near the strongest version of Brazil that I've seen. So I knew that they were fallible. But I speak all the time because Haaland is just crazy, man. Like, he's just so strong and so powerful, and his ability to just zone out of the game for like 40 minutes and then pop back in and smack one into the bottom corner is so outrageous. Like, that's so hard to defend. And like, the mentality of a defender is you're scoping the team, you're always in instruction, you're always conducting, and you have like 50% of your brain constantly on where is that guy, because he's the killer, right? And it's so hard to watch when the defender, the centre-back, has done everything right, and still the person's just too strong or too fast or too good, and you think like, man, he didn't even make a mistake. He was watching, and so anyway, I was in awe of Haaland. But I think Norway's like the camaraderie they have, the culture that they're developing, you see how they celebrate. I'm a big predictor of a team's success when you see them score. For example, if I ever see someone score and the teammates don't run with him, it's always like a really clear sign the culture's bad, you know? And like in Norway, when they score, you see them going ballistic. They're running to the guy who did the assist. They're jumping together, and that to me, it has like Italy Euro feel. It has this kind of like Greece Euro feel where you see like this kind of sort of underdog country, and they really band together. So it didn't blow my mind that they knocked Brazil out. But in saying that, I do think they're going to lose to England. So, yeah. So I know I've just jumped a question, but so I'm saying all that to say I think they're going to get knocked out.
That question I'll ask later, but I'm surely going to ask that question because I'm quite surprised that you gave that take. I mean, I thought it's going to be a balanced affair, but then we'll talk about that later on, no problem. But in terms of the quality of matches, is this the best World Cup you've watched so far?
You know what? I was... I don't know about you, but I was really against the expanded teams.
Right.
I thought it was, I hate when football changes. I want the tradition to last. I was against VAR. I'm against it's because football's such a beautiful game. I never want anything to change. But I think this has been the best World Cup that I've watched, purely because you have seen so many underdog nations, underdog players from nowhere have ridiculous performances that will change their whole life, and you've got the like Cabo Verde keeper, and then you've got this player and that player and doing insane things, and everybody talking about them. Even the Egypt Argentina, the goal gets disallowed, but the number 12, he plays for Al Ahly, and that would have been probably the goal of the tournament if it was allowed. It is a player that now everyone's talking about. He just ran 80 yards, dribbled 3 Argentinian players, the World Cup holders, and so these kind of things, I think. Are
you talking about Hossein Hassan, the right winger?
Yeah, number 12?
Number 12, he plays for Real Oviedo.
That's what he plays, that's right. Al Ahly is the goalkeeper. But he was amazing. The Egyptian goalkeeper, amazing. And that's where I think this World Cup to me has been my favourite, whereas, I'm accustomed to growing up. Obviously, back then Italy used to qualify. So, but I'm used to just watching Italy and being like, okay, we're gonna play 2 countries that we're gonna batter in the group stage, and then the competition starts, and you're kind of bored of that until it gets to the good part. Whereas, like, I just thought this World Cup has been so beautiful with this expanded, more even kind of format. And there were so many shocks. Was it Cabo Verde that drew with Spain the first game? Like all these things. There were such beautiful talking points. So yeah, I think it's probably my favorite one.
I want to talk about Egypt versus Argentina because off air you didn't mention about. Yeah, there's been lots of controversies. It's still being spoken about. Some fans are saying it's rigged. FIFA should have done better with the refereeing. The referee should have been better, and then they say that officials are favouring Argentina. There are lots of talking points, but you did mention about the last 20 minutes of that match, what Egypt should have done better. Talk us through.
Okay, I won't deny I think that the referee should have been better. I don't think that the goal should have been disallowed for Egypt. I don't think Salah's penalty shout was a penalty. I think that was too soft and the ball was going backwards. So I think the ref did right there, but the goal I don't think it should have been disallowed. But in saying that, You're in a round of 16. You're Egypt. You are 2-0 up. There's 20 minutes to go. It's not the sexiest thing to say, but you do every single possible thing you can to kill that game. Then it goes 2-1. You do 2 times everything you possibly can to kill that game, right? And for me, that's the part that I was so disappointed, because not only did I see lack of, and like, so easy for me to say, but lack of football IQ, but there was lack of effort. There's a moment for the last goal, Enzo's header, where Enzo's one-on-one with the centre-back, and there's 3 Egyptian players jogging, leaving the one-on-one. Are you crazy? I wouldn't do that in a Liga Super game. Like, and then what makes it worse is that 3 Argentinian players sprint past them. So even if Enzo didn't win the header, it was a 3v1 or 4v1. What are you doing? It's the World Cup. If I see you, which I've done, which you've seen me do, which my teammates do, all of us do, if you see an extremely tired effort and then a failure, no judgment. No player on earth would ever judge anyone for making a mistake like that. But in a game with so much, you're a history-making game. You are seconds away from taking them to extra time, and then we're in the deep end and anything can happen. You didn't have the effort or the discipline to track back. That's I can't even now. I don't think I'd sleep. I wouldn't be able to fathom that. So I think, yes, we can have this talking point about the ref. Okay, we can talk about the ref. We can talk about how there were certain calls. Yes, I do think that refs favour Messi because people try to kick Messi constantly. So I think refs are very soft on him, right? But that's part and parcel of also being the greatest dribbler of all time. He gets kicked 50 million times a day. So I get that, right? But for me, the bigger criticism when I'm that coach and I go back would be how my defense, back to what we were talking about 5 minutes ago, don't have the IQ to say, hey, stop. Let's stop the leaking. We're 2-1 up. Everyone, get the ball. Either kick it out of the stadium or pop the ball. We're trying to finish this game. We are minutes away from tasting the quarterfinal, and that there was poor clearances. There was trying to dribble out of the box. There was a moment where even Salah made a mistake on the edge of the, and I thought, like, that's absurd. That is so absurd. And you can say it's fatigue or whatever, but to me, that's the part that I think people aren't talking enough about. You have to also say that is their responsibility.
Do you think the head was done? Keep it short.
I think so.
Keep it short.
I think so. Yeah.
You think the head was done?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we've already spoken about the round of 16. The quarterfinals are underway, and we are looking at Argentina taking on Switzerland, and also Norway versus England. Norway versus England, we'll keep it aside. We'll talk about Argentina versus Switzerland. How do you think that game would be? Do you think the referee would now say that since there was a controversy in the previous game, this time around we have to be more stricter towards the Argentinians? And how do you see Switzerland taking on the reigning world champions?
Oof. Yeah, I think there will be like a reverberation, like there will be a sort of kind of like the referee's going to try really hard to
I don't know why I have that inkling as well,
you know,
right?
like he's going to let Correct. Fouls go or vice versa. But I think this is the best chance for Argentina to be knocked out. I do, because I think the amount of attention on the ref, the amount of attention on the fact that, you know, they've been getting pushed and being helped. And I saw a statistic today that said they have the most amount of fouls per 90 minutes and so on and so forth. I think that would enter their camp. You know, that will enter their camp. That will be in there. So a part of your group would also feel like you're getting discredited every day online from 3 billion football fans, you know. So, but they're still the world champions and they still have Lionel Messi. So, yeah.
Switzerland? How do you think Mohamed Akin is going to tell his players to play against them? I assume they're going to be tactically organized, and Granit Xhaka being one of the leaders there, he's known for that, being able to grind down matches.
Yeah.
So how do you think they would take on the might of the Argentinians?
You know what? It's so hard because the deadlock breaker, the key is Messi, and unlike Ronaldo stays at the point, Messi moves. So even if you try to do a block, he just waits outside the block and then dribbles into the block. So that's why he's the greatest player on earth, right? So he's so hard.
Did you just see he's the greatest player on earth? I'm not a CR7 fan, did you? This is on record, huh? Okay, go.
How quickly I put my volume down? I don't. All right. Yeah, so I think that's going to make things very difficult, but I'm kind of banking on the fact that Xhaka is a real leader and has incredible football IQ. And I think that if Argentina has already showed against two weaker nations that they're not as strong as we think they are. And I think that's all been down to kind of someone on the field not taking the game by the horns. And I think he can. So I think this is the best chance for them to get knocked out.
Norway versus England. I mean, you did say that you expect Norway's run to end, but here's my counter argument. Against Brazil, Haaland was waiting for his moment, and he got two beautiful moments and took them well. Whereas English defenders, they are more like, get physical with us. You know, you need to come and duel us, and we will get stronger and stronger and stronger. Whereas Haaland is not that kind of a player. How do you think the duel is going to go? How do you think English defense is going to take on the might of Haaland? Or maybe even other Norwegian players would be able to turn up as well in that game. But your take, how do you see that going?
Well, I know that Stones is going to be comfortable. That's the part for me that I think is a big factor, because Stones will not fear Haaland.
Right.
He's trained with him every single day, right? So I think that's a big factor. And I think my prediction is that it'll be like a 1-0. And I think that both teams are going to focus so much on blocking the spear. So I think England will focus so much on isolating no space for Haaland. And Norway will focus so much on not letting Kane get in the 6-yard box. So I think something will come from a midfielder. And I just think England have Bellingham. And so I can see that all the focus will be on these 2 points where you're really trying to constrict these two players, because you know if Kane or Haaland get half a chance, they're going to bury you.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't think, as much as I know you love him, but I don't think Odegaard has that kind of finishing like I know Bellingham does. And Bellingham makes 20, 30 runs every game.
I'll be honest, Bellingham is better than Odegaard in that respect.
In attacking kind of and I just think that's what will break. What will break is that when you have this bigger game, such a focus, the whole back six will be thinking about Kane, and that's where you concede.
You've played a lot of knockout matches, whether it's locally or even in the Asian stages when you played in the AFC Cup. How do you prepare yourself mentally when you play these kind of matches? Because the pressure is totally different. Group stage is more like, let's get the job done to get to the next stage.
Yeah.
League is totally different. It's a marathon.
Yeah.
But tournaments like this, it demands a lot mentally. So in your case, I mean, in your experience, how do you deal with that, man? I mean, how do you tell yourself mentally when you take on these kind of games? What do you tell yourself?
I'm like I like to have all my things in a row. So like I like to watch a lot of videos of the striker. I like to feel like anything I can quantify. You know, that my sleep is good, my hydration is good, my food is good, and that I can see already what habits he has. So like I remember we played Vittel, and the striker had a tendency to always do a first dummy, put it on his right and shoot. So the whole game I just showed him on his left, and he got subbed at the 60th minute. So these little things, they are quantifiable things that make me feel like I'm prepared. What they do before they jump, what moment how many zigzags do they do? These kind of things help me. But you're completely right where they're like really mentally draining. And like cup games are relative. So for me, 30,000 people in ATK is the same like Harry Kane's 80,000 in, right? Because it's all relative to you. It's the same that the 500 at a park can be the same, right? It's what level of importance you put on it. And sometimes when we had those runs, that's where for me I have so much appreciation for what these boys do in the World Cup, because their games go back to back. And like we played that Vittel game. We came back to the league and played a game 4 days later. We were terrible. We were diabolical. We had no energy because the high that we had from knocking out Vittel, I was exhausted. And so that's where like a lot of it is so physical. It is so, because you care so much about every single minute. You do not stop concentrating. You do not stop breathing. You do not stop focusing. But there is a massive come down, and that's why when these players back up group game, round of 16, they get you see some of their errors or injuries, and you're like, man, the fact that Bellingham can play so well 4 games in a row is why he deserves whatever money that he makes, because that is so hard to do that. So I tip my hat to them, man. It's incredible.
I'm going to ask you rapid fire questions. Just simple answers, Gigi. Okay, before I ask who is going to lift the World Cup, who is the best defender so far in the tournament?
Far out, man.
Okay, I'll give you a chance. Maybe you can name 2.
Yeah, because I wanted to say, but I don't know his name. I wanted to say the centre back for Cabo Verde, but I don't know his name.
Number what?
He literally in every single highlight does about 45 blocks off the line. And I was thinking, this guy's a machine. Somebody's going to sign him. And then my favourite defender at the moment, other than Virgil van Dijk, is Stones. So I like them both, obviously. But I feel like Stones is a more selfless defender and Virgil van Dijk is a more selfish defender. So I say Stones.
Most entertaining team?
Probably Argentina, Egypt. 5 goals. Absolute heart attack.
Entertaining. What about team? Who has captivated your attention, your mind?
Norway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Final question. For the World Cup, who is going to lift it?
Probably France.
Why?
Because Mbappe is so crazy good. Their team is so crazy good. Their run-up is good. I was going to say England. I don't know. It's between England and France. But you said one-word answer, man. You put me under stress.
Have to. No choice.
Yeah, probably.
Knowing you will go on and on.
Yeah, facts. See? I already can't do the one-word answer. All right, France. We'll say France.
Okay. One final question for me. This is out of the World Cup. What's your status like with the national team? Any updates?
Does it have to be one word answer, or how do I answer?
No.
Okay, thank you. I know you know how excited I am and how badly I want to live in Malaysia and how much I love this country. So last I heard was before the off season, I had a call with the coach, with Coach Peter, about all the plans for the future. And I went home saying, back to Australia, say, hey, Mum and Dad, love you, but I'm about to start a whole new life and you need to start thinking about moving to Malaysia. And then I come back here, and as of right now, I'm kind of floating in limbo land because Coach Peter left, so did some of the background staff. So as of right now, I actually have zero idea, but I know that I have fit all the criteria, that they have done everything. So I'm really, really hoping that soon.
I hope for that to happen as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gigi. Pleasure having you here. It was an amazing session.
Thank you.
I know we can go on and on, but that's the time we have. To all those who have been watching the Sportcast, thank you so much for watching our shows. Please do comment, maybe suggest some topics that we can talk about, and enjoy the World Cup. Till then, ciao.